For those who've been paying close attention, the last few weeks, our Sunday gospel has not been from Mark, like most of them are this year, but have instead been from the Gospel of John. And in particular, they have been from John chapter 6. And this is one of the most powerful and important chapters in all of the Gospels, because it lays a foundation for both the Last Supper and, by extension, the Eucharist. And since we are in the middle of a Eucharistic revival, I think it is important that we reflect today on the importance of the Eucharist, especially on how important it is to revigorate a love for the Eucharist, particularly at the margins of our church. Now, before I get into that, a quick caveat and something that really frustrates me. You will often hear statistics quoted about how few Catholics believe the Eucharist is the body and blood of Christ. But I believe those statistics are very misleading. And here's why I believe that. In the depths of the pandemic, thousands of you came and stood outside our door demanding to be let in to receive the Eucharist. I cannot reconcile that with the people who do not believe that the Eucharist is the body and blood of Christ. And after I experienced that, I vowed I would never doubt the love that all of you have for the Eucharist. And as a result, I've refused up till now, during the revival, to lecture you about the Eucharist. I believed it would insult your faith because I know you believe. At the same time, I think that it is true outside of those of us who attend on a regular basis that there is a larger circle of Catholics whose faith is not as strong. This is not a surprise to any of us. We all have siblings, children, grandchildren who have wandered from the faith, and we even wonder if it's hanging on by a thread. These are the Catholics who make up those troubling statistics, not you. And I share your frustration about how hard it is to talk to them about the faith and how we would so much desire for them to come back to the church, but we can't seem to make a dent. But I think I have some good news. There is hope. And for me, I'll tell you where this hope comes from. It comes from non-Catholic young adults who are looking at what the secular world is offering them and are realizing they are being sold a false bill of goods. And they are searching and yearning to find something true. And they are coming to the church in large numbers. Our RCIA program is overflowing with young adults. In the past, it would have been, usually middle-aged people, a couple retired people, maybe one or two younger people who are getting married. But I am talking about dozens of not single young adults who on their own are coming to the church seeking the truth. There is great hope. And I think in them is the roadmap for how to bring our family members back. I also think today's gospel passage is very illuminating and helpful. The people who doubt Christ in today's gospel passage are the same people who just a couple weeks ago in the Sunday gospel witnessed the feeding of the 5,000. And they had been following Jesus all over Galilee, wanting more. These were people who believed, like our family members. But yet when Christ shares with them this powerful truth that he is the bread of life, that he is the Eucharist that we must eat, the crowds turn on him. And the question is why? Why do they turn on him? Maybe in that there will be a guide to our families. The answer in today's gospel is because Christ is too familiar to them. He's the son of Mary and Joseph. They saw him grow up. They saw him fall and cry. They saw his mother, take care of the bloody nose. He was as human as could be. How could he be God? And I think a similar mindset has infected much of our families. They've seen the human weakness in the church. They've seen the mistakes. They've seen me not at my best. They've seen the priests not at their best. And they see the humanity in the church, and they see it as all too familiar. I believe that if they were able to take a fresh look at the church with the same kind of eyes as the young adults who are coming in droves, their faith would be reinvigorated. So how do we do this? I think the first thing we need to do is acknowledge the pain and the frustrations that they have. They're real. There's definitely plenty of things happening in our church that aren't the best. And so we have to acknowledge and we have to sympathize. And frankly, to the best of our ability, we should apologize on behalf of the church. Let them know that we understand. And then we have to wait to allow there to be time for healing. And they may come back again and say they are still feeling that hurt. And so we need to apologize again and again and again for the church until that healing takes hold. Next, we wait for a time when they are showing doubt in the secular world that they have turned to instead of the church. And they get frustrated with that secular world. And again, we sympathize with them. We say we understand the humanity in our world. And then when the time is finally right, we remind them that unlike the secular world, our church, our God, is not just human, but also divine. And we ask that they come and pray with us. We ask that they come with us to adoration of the Eucharist, a quiet, silent time to listen to God. Because I believe that just as much as their doubts about the Eucharist are keeping them away, a fresh look at the Eucharist will bring them back.